Well, welcome to another edition of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston, and joining me yet again is Jason Lucky Juggling J Ford.
Hey now.
Hey now. Jay, it's been a week of decision making, excitement. We've had the women's under 17 CONCACAF draw for the finals.
Waiting for that.
We got the chance to be inside the Bermuda Football Association semi-annual Congress.
First time
ever. Allowing the media in. Enlighten us a lot on what actually goes on.
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I did.
The Bermuda Olympic Association presented Bermuda Rugby Football Union with a Olympic Solidarity grant from the IOC in preparation for the 2020 Olympics. And Lamont Marshall, breaking records, got a chance to speak to him, and he had a lot to say.
And a few other things to say.
Yeah, a lot to say. Also, we're going to look at Nikki Rouse, still with Burnley.
Yes.
And, of course, it's pick time because it's football this weekend returning.
About time.
But first, let's get this message from our sponsor.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Jay, yesterday evening, the draw for the women's under 17 CONCACAF final took place. Now, when you look at the draw, we are seated in Group B alongside the defending champions, USA, Canada, and Costa Rica. Now, it was 2 years ago, 2015, that some of these same girls, if not all of these same girls, faced off against USA, the same team as under 15s, and lost 12-0. This time, after speaking with the technical development director, Maurice Lowe, after the draw, he says there's a chance to measure where the girls are. So, we go into this round, and I think a lot of people need to realize, first time that we've been in this round. So, yes, score matters, but it's not the most significant thing we want to be able to gauge where we are and then continue to keep getting to this point.
This is the part now, and we always talk about this, controlling our expectations. Let's keep everything into context. We are fighting well above our weight.
Yeah.
We've made this is the furthest we've ever been.
Yeah.
So we're reached where we could possibly thought we wouldn't reach.
Yeah.
So now it's just for now. I think the biggest thing for these young ladies, and just for the association, is the experience of it.
Gain the experience.
Get the
and
experience
want to look to get there again and again.
Because to be in this elite group,
yeah.
That's what you got to call it.
That's right.
Elite group.
We're usually watching this point.
We're watching. You got to know how we have to conduct ourselves on the field and off the field, and we can learn a lot from those programs. Now, let me just go back to talking about the technical director, Maurice Lowe. Last year or year before, going down to another country to shadow what they do behind the scenes.
And some of that stuff pays off.
So this is what we need to do with this tournament. Go and take note of what these girls do to prepare during the day. Meet some, friendships. Yeah. Which that normally happens on tournaments like that. And then you get to know how you can compete. Because, man, it's like I said, the score. Close your eyes on the score.
Yeah.
Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Close your eyes on the score. But in saying that, I'm always looking for a surprise.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Because my ladies have surprised me.
Oh, they have.
So I'm waiting for another surprise.
Well, let's get the draw and the reaction from yesterday.
So which one's the group of, how you call it, the group of death?
All right, well, we'll start with the president. Your reaction?
Draw it is what it is, you know. We certainly want to prepare to have maybe Haiti and Nicaragua, but it's the top 8 countries in the region, irrespective of who's in which group. In order to get through, it has to be the best team. So there you go.
Maurice, obviously, you had the same sentiments, but you made it known that you got to be the best to get to where you want to go. Your thoughts on the draw?
It gives or puts a focus to our work now, so we can put faces, or at least a country's face, to our preparations, and so that helps in that regard, where we can be specific about what we're doing and who we're playing against. And like I said earlier, there's no shortcut to being a champion, and we're undeterred. So our goal remains the same, and our objective. So now we just know who we have to go through to make it a reality.
President, you said you would have liked to have the other two countries, but in effect, do you think they would have liked to have us too?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no secret. The U.S. are regional powerhouses in the women's game. They actually led the way in the women's game globally. So that's no secret. They're at a standard that we're all trying to reach. So, these girls will actually get the opportunity to gauge their progress over the last year or so. Because if you recall, they played them in the under-15s.
Yeah.
So we got to actually gauge our progress as well. So it still has a lot of interest, and the task is not impossible, and the goal remains the same. We want to get to the World Cup.
Maurice, as the TD, you would want to play Costa Rica first, hoping that USA and Canada kind of go up against each other and injuries, whatever. But you want to get them like second wheel, third wheel, maybe?
Well, I mean, everyone in the tournament will be doing the same thing. So everyone will watch everyone else's matches to see if we can devise plans to, beat our opponents that are in front of us on the day. So we'll be no different in that regard. We'll watch everyone's matches, we'll scout and make reports and plans to progress us to the semi-final and then hopefully the World Cup.
What is the immediate goal now that you know the draw? What is the coaching staff now focused down on?
It puts focus to our work, because at this level of competition against these countries, so our group ends up being a difficult group, or had to pick one of the groups that were more difficult than the other. I would say that we're in a difficult group, and because of that, now we have to prepare ourselves to play with and without the ball. So when we measure ourselves up against the United States, we measure ourselves up against Costa Rica, we measure ourselves up against Canada, we know that we're the underdogs in all of those matches. However, we're still undeterred. So it's football on any given day, 11v11. If we execute well on the day and our planning and preparations go well, then we can have success.
All right. I want to turn to two people that have been with this group of girls for a little while. Charisse has been the manager,
yes,
and Manny as the HOD for a while with these girls. How do you think they will react to this draw? The team, per se.
I think U.S. is probably a team that they probably wanted to avoid. However, they're not fearful of anyone. I think they have a level of confidence and competitiveness that they're willing to take on anyone and see, and like as our president said earlier, see how they progress throughout this year. So I don't think, I'm sure they probably would have preferred to have played Puerto Rico or Haiti again, but I don't think they're going to be deterred or discouraged of where we have to go next.
Sheree?
What Manny said is true. The girls are resilient. They're happy-go-lucky. They know what they have to do on the day. They know that, we beat Jamaica or was a draw against Jamaica, I can't remember, but, you know, that brought us up some confidence with them. So I think they're going to carry that confidence on to the next round. They understand the difference between under 15 tournament and this under 17 tournament is a no different tournament that we've been in. So I think the confidence will help them a lot.
Okay. And President, final question. Obviously, you want to make sure that these girls are well prepared. From the administration side, what are you looking to do to ensure that once they arrive in Nicaragua, they're hitting the ground running?
Well, that work comes before Nicaragua. Before they get to Nicaragua, there's at least one training tour that we're putting together for them in the next school visit. And then it's all the stuff that we try and do behind the scenes so that the players concentrate on football. And that work just continues. It's something that we're used to doing, and we just continue to do that in the background.
Well, Jay, I want to end that part, and I'm not sure if you will piggyback off of what I'm about to say. This is to the Bermuda public. We denigrated our cricketers after the World Cup. I don't want to see them do the same thing, or us do the same thing to these under 17 women who have a lifelong of football in front of them after this particular tournament.
Once again, Earl, we see this time and time. We have to remember, number one, these are amateurs. The players that they're going to be playing against will be on the verge of being professional probably right after this tournament. Our ladies still do not have, it's coming, but a league, outdoor league. So let's keep our emotions intact.
And our expectations.
And expectations intact, and give our full support behind these young ladies who are supporting us.
Before, during, and mostly important, after. Yeah.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, Jay, moving on, we're staying in football. Tuesday night at the Devonshire Recreation Club, got an opportunity to be inside the Bermuda Football Association Semi-Annual Congress. For the first time, they allowed the media in, talking with the president, Mark Wade, about having the media in, and it's a valid point where he said, if the media could be in the FIFA Congress, why can't it be in the Bermuda Football Association Congress?
The word transparency has been thrown around, but very seldom backed up by action. This time it was backed up by an action. And whether you like it or not, you got to see the inner workings. For some folks who will love to put a lot of blame on the shoulders of the BFA, now you understand where the power actually lies. It's actually in the Congress.
Yeah.
The BFA has to carry out the Congress's mandate. So a lot of the heated discussions and hard decisions are actually made by the Congress. So when we say you cannot leave out the clubs when it comes to certain decisions, now you can see why we say you cannot leave out the clubs, because they're the ones who came to an agreement. Probably not all in the same agreement, because I don't think no votes always go. But they have come to an agreement, and that's the way things happen. So in saying that, one of the biggest things that came out of that night was the reintroduction of Vasco da Gama.
Which it would get a spirited debate, because you have those people who are still around when Vasco were around in the league. Well, Vasco has still been around, they've been playing Corona, but and they were in the league. And then you have some who weren't even around when they were in the league. So they're learning new stuff. You know, it's probably not the first time they've heard it. They probably, but to be in the Congress and hear the debate go on,
Yeah.
you get a different opinion on how people feel about a situation, whether it be right, whether it be wrong, whether you agree or whether they voiced their opinion on a situation and their concerns. Went to a vote. The yeas were more than the nays. Simple as that. But actually, you know what? Let's get a bit of the debate from Tuesday night.
Received in your booklet information on the Bermuda Football Coaches Association. You will recall that 2 years ago, at this very same Congress, the Congress elected to award the Bermuda Football Coaches Association associate membership. It was also known via our statutes, our Constitution, that they were, as provisional members, they were to be observed by the association in the manner to which they comply with the regulations of the association as well as their own aims and objectives as stated in their Constitution. The Executive Committee has reviewed the Bermuda Football Coaches Association over this last 2-year period. You would also know that they have been active participants in our Congress meetings, and therefore, based on the observation and the manner in which the Bermuda Football Coaches Association has conducted themselves over this 2-year period, the Executive Committee proposes to the Congress to consider voting the Bermuda Football Coaches Association as full members of the Bermuda Football Association. Does anyone have any questions or have any comments prior to turning it back over to the President?
Okay, at this time. Sorry. Yes, please.
Anyone applying for full membership can they apply for full membership right from the beginning? Become a full member, a club, organization, anything, or?
The answer to your question is no, because it is laid out in the Constitution exactly what that process is. It's provisional membership for 2 years, and only at 2 years can they be considered for full membership.
At this time, I will entertain a motion to accept or confirm, the Bermuda Football Coaches Association as a full member of the Bermuda Football Association Congress. Proposed by Northfield Community Club and seconded by Western Star Sports Club. All those in favor, please signify by raising your green voting card in your left hand. Thank you. Completion sake. Any abstentions? At this point, I would like to congratulate and welcome the Bermuda Football Coaches Association as a full member of the Bermuda Football Association Congress.
On behalf of the Bermuda Football Coaches Association, we greatly appreciate the support shown by the Congress in favor of our full membership of the association. We look forward to continuing the important work in regards to coach education. We have a pretty busy period that is coming up with 3 main events. The first being the next UEFA B course that is to begin on February the 15th with Donald Park from the Scottish Football Association arriving on island. There will be up to 12 local candidates participating in that course, and 15 candidates arriving from North America will be participating jointly in the course alongside our Bermuda candidates. In March the 2nd, we'll be hosting our first annual fundraiser, very important in terms of raising support to continue to provide these coaching education initiatives. Most of the clubs will be aware that Gerard Houllier is coming on island for a weekend of events. We will be sending out communication to the clubs this weekend via the BFA with regards to information on the tickets and asking for you to support by sending out to your members. The money that's raised from this event again goes directly back to supporting the Coach Association, which underwrites a huge cost related to coaching education, which ultimately benefits your clubs and then football in general throughout Bermuda. Thirdly, the next C license course will begin on March the 15th. Registration, March the 6th. Registration will begin this week. We will send again that information out through the BFA. I would just like to reiterate with the impending standards for coaching with regards to being implemented in the coming fall. That it is important that clubs look at those coaches who currently do not meet the criteria and try to ensure that they get out to the course so that you're not faced with a situation when those regulations come into play and you have coaches who are not able to actively be coaching your teams. I would also suggest to the clubs to be proactive, because we never know at what time a coach, you lose a coach, he leaves the island, he departs, you need to find a replacement coach. And we would like to encourage every club to look within the ranks of their senior coaches and senior players and identify 2 candidates to go on and take the course. That way, in the event that when you require a coach, you have a pool of coaches who are readily available. It is important for us to gauge the numbers quite quickly as to who needs to attend the course, how many, because then we can prepare and we need to look to see how many candidates will be in the course, and if it is a huge number, do we need to then look at offering a second course. Okay, so again, those communications will be forthcoming from the association this coming week. Again, thank you very much.
Also in your booklet, you would have received some details with respect to Vasco da Gama's interest in also rejoining the association. I don't think that I need to go over all of the information. Perhaps it may be best that I open the floor for any questions or comments that you may have prior to the president asking for a decision.
Mr. Stars?
In reference in the past, all that's been done, has Vasco established or complied to standards that they have to meet in order to become an associate first and again down the road to full member?
I'm hopeful that the information you would have received would answer the question of compliance with the criteria, which is really speaks to the constitutional requirements, and also we went a step further in discussions with them to align themselves up also with some of the club licensing criteria, even though they are not subjected to that at this present moment. But it is a good idea that they start understanding if they are to become a part of this organization, then they should also be aware of the things that they need to be in compliance with, such as everyone else. In further answering the question, the executive committee has examined the documentation submitted, which I hope we have provided a snapshot of that in this information to you. And as a result, is comfortable in making the submission to you for your consideration.
Dr. Coach?
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. In past submissions, we have actually gotten a list when theory, he's going to damage your cause. It's actually another issue with joining the league. Why you feel uncomfortable in saying yes, because this information is missing. Because in previous meetings, once we saw a list of some officers and things, we had issues with should they be added in the coup. So I respect you, if you guys have vetted it, but if you want us to actually make a decision, I think that information is important for us to consider. So that's what you put that in.
It's a very good question, Mr. Jones. And of course, for your information, I will provide, and I could also back it up with an email tomorrow if that would be sufficient. But I will read you the list of their executive members. The president is Mr. Hugo Miguel Pereira. The vice president is Mr. Paul Franco. The secretary is Ricardo Ponte. And the treasurer is Mr. Edward Correa. They have submitted their full constitution, and they have indicated when they had their last annual general meeting, which was on October the 21st, 2017, at 8 p.m. at the Vasco da Gama.
Mr. President, on that list that you just called out, one of those players is a registered player for Frederick Community Football Club. Also, is this the first or second application by Vasco to join the DSA? I would say it would be the second, because we had discussions, I believe, last year, and I do think it may fall within this 12-month period to be applying. So am I correct?
So Vasco actually did apply last year, but it was too late for us to present it to Congress. So this is the same application, so it hasn't been put for Congress.
So why did we go through that exercise?
So as they wrote in around or about August of last year, and their intent was to enter last season, and we were unable to get that recommendation to the Congress in time for last season. So we advised them that we will present this Congress with the intention of, if the recommendation is accepted, they can enter into the league next season. It's the same application. Yeah, that's probably it. I think it was discussed at your president's meeting.
Would that have been on
No, it was discussed because the BFA asked us to meet them. Asked the presidents to meet them. Because they want to start last year. They want to get in the league last year.
Correct, they wanted to get in the league last year. No,
and we discussed this around March of last year. Yes, it was. With Vasco. They met us at a club.
Okay, so even if it was March of last year, no recommendation would have been able to be made to the Congress.
But why did you recommend them to come talk to us?
Sorry?
Why did you?
I'll take your point. Let me explain. If it was March last year, perhaps you're correct, no recommendation would have been able to be made to the Congress before the start of 2017-2018 season. So there was a recommendation for them to talk to the presidents, to gauge your temperature with the intent of recommending this Congress so that, if accepted, they will be brought into the league for the 2018-2019 season. So this is the first official recommendation of Vasco.
But that's not what their intent, what they thought they was doing last year. They thought they'd be able to enter last year, starting this season.
Yes.
That's what they had the feelings from you, as that they will be able to start last year.
And we advised them that that wouldn't be possible because it had to be presented to Congress. Congress is held in September, the season starts in August. So they were advised that they would not be able to be accepted for the 2017-2018 season. Hence, we scheduled the recommendation to take place tonight.
So you must have advised them after we had talked to them, because they said with us and said that you sent it to us to see if we would be willing to allow them into the league last year.
Correct, but you couldn't make that decision in the presidency. That
Huh?
had to be
No.
presented to the Congress.
You sent it to me so that we can make the decision when it came up or when they put to.
No, that's
But
the issue- that was the
if
issue
they
that
were
before
in time
tonight.
last, you shouldn't have sent it to the state committee to presidents anyhow.
Okay, so.
Because they thought they would be able to come in the league last year. That's what they told us. That you said too.
Just to clarify, in order for them to be accepted into the BFA league.
I know all
Congress
that.
has to accept it. I know you know that, yeah? So we are making that recommendation now. And now is the time for you to make that decision. Notwithstanding
Well,
what's
we don't have to.
transpired,
If we don't make a motion,
the
then
rest
we don't have to make no
exactly
decision now. If we don't make no motion.
We missed a player from Paget. I used the word actively registered.
Right, understood.
I think also in this vein, we have to be very mindful that this is just a snapshot. Today, we have to be very vigilant in what happens during the registration process. But there's also another point, and that is, if the decision is to allow them as provisional members, not associate, but provisional members, meaning over the next 2 years, we are watching, or we are watching exactly how they conduct themselves. And I'm sure that if you arrive back at this venue for the Congress, that will be part of the presentation for whether they are moved forward to full membership.
And it contributed richly, I believe, to the traditions that have been established through the years in the history within the association. So every club goes through phases, and they made a decision that they had to go away from having a team, but they should be welcomed back if they're at this point now to resume full active membership within the association.
Thank you so far for the contributions. I would like to say, as part of the dialogue leading up to this moment, was we had an open and frank discussion with the Vasco representatives regarding the history, right? An interesting point you raised, Richard, in regards to the history. And some have a history lesson on this side of the fence, and others have a history, remembrance of history on the other side. And one of the conversations was, listen, there has to be an understanding going forward that you are growing our sport, right? And they understood that. They understood what the past represented to a number of clubs. But that's the past, right? That's the past. And what we're doing going forward is encouraging them to not revisit what was the assumption, because I wasn't president of the club, but the assumption of enticing people to come and play for the club through other means. And that, okay, is a right, because there is nothing prohibitive in the laws. There's nothing prohibited in the laws and regulations that there can be financial or other salaries become the costs of various aspects in football for your participation in football. Right? So that's not, the association cannot write in its regulations and policies freedom of association. You can't write. We have an open registration and release and registration period. And everyone complies with that in accordance with the rules that govern amateur football on the field. So, yes, we're mindful. They are mindful. They have written a declaration in terms of how they intend to operate. And should it be the decision of the Congress, they have 2 years to prove, to show to you that they are, in some regards, operating like everyone else, whatever that means.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
And there you have it. I mean, Earl, like you said, sometimes things need to be said.
Mm-hmm. So they're out in the open.
So nobody can say behind,
I wish I would have said.
I wish I would have said.
The opportunity for you to speak and speak freely and frankly without any repercussions was right there and then. Those that now talk later, the opportunity for you to make a decision was in that room. Mm-hmm. You cannot make a decision, or you can ask the press to get you support when you had all the support in the room. Mm-hmm. So the opportunity to talk, let your voice be heard, mm-hmm. let your club's opinion be heard, because that's the most important thing. The person is sent to represent their club, mm-hmm. and they speak on behalf of their members mm-hmm. and management of their club. Mm-hmm. So however you feel about an individual, mm-hmm. that person might be for it, but the club in which they represent could have had a meeting and said, we need you to ask this, and this. Mm-hmm. So they're carrying out their members' wishes. So,
I'm only hoping that all parties learn from the past, mm-hmm. so they don't react to the past, mm-hmm. but to think about the history of Vasco da Gama, mm-hmm. presence on this island, and also how successful they were.
Yeah.
They haven't been playing in the league for almost 20 years.
Something like that.
Over 20 years, and they probably still have more trophies than
quite a few teams.
Most of our teams, even to today. But in saying that, Earl, it'll be interesting because we said this off air. This was something groundbreaking for you, mm-hmm. as far as the football. Mm-hmm. Do you think we'll see this in cricket?
We'll leave it up to the president, Lloyd Smith, and his committee to invite the media in. I don't see why not.
Transparency, we talk about it.
And matter of fact, anybody's meeting. Because now we could look online and see the heads of all these sports having general meetings live.
Yes.
So what stops us from having that same opportunity
internationally
on a local front?
Bigger scale.
Yeah.
Why we don't have to be behind closed doors.
No, because they feel as if the more people that have the opportunity to see what goes on, the criticism sort of dies down.
Because it shuts down a lot of rumors.
Yeah.
Or so-called leaks.
Yeah. Because everybody's heard it.
We could go to. So-and-so said that.
Yeah.
Just
and then you don't have to worry about the next day somebody saying, "Well, I disagree with it. You don't know what happened in the meeting." Yes, you do.
We saw it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be live.
No.
It doesn't have to be live.
No. But the opportunity to allow the public, the media and the public, to get to see what goes on behind closed doors sometimes is always a good thing.
It's always nice to see guys on the best behavior in these meetings when the camera
once the camera goes on. Like the door opens up.
The camera goes on, I'm sit up straight and I think about everything I'm about to say.
Yeah. Very cautious with my words. Jay, on Saturday, Lamont Marshall broke the Bermuda 5,000 indoor meter record. Got a chance to speak with him on Monday after he returned to the island. Frank discussion about several things. Let's get the interview.
You get from Lamont.
Yeah. We'll call him Lamont Frank Marshall.
Frankie.
Let's get the interview. Well, Lamont, what a way to start the season.
Yeah. It was good. I'm feeling confident. once I qualified for Commonwealth Games back in June of last year, my daddy wrote up a training program and a racing schedule for me. Shortly after, mind you, we realized that I couldn't go to Commonwealth because we just couldn't afford it. The amount of money I had spent on races qualifying, what it would cost to prepare, and then going away, being off the island. It's in Australia, so you're talking, 2-3 weeks off the island, loss in wages, spending money, so we just realized we couldn't go. It was financially, but we still said we'll stick to that program, and it's paid off, because to debut like I did in the 5K indoors was definitely a positive start. Like I said, unfortunately, it's just it's a rich man's sport now. When you start talking about 5-10 races a year and out of pocket, I get a lot of help from my sponsors, as well as you get some back from prize money, but it's expensive, and that's not just for me. Even the junior athletes that qualify for Carifta, I think the last couple of years they've had to come out of pocket $500-600 each athlete has to pay to go Carifta. So it's juniors, seniors, everybody has to pay, and it's just one of those things. Moving forward, I was looking at the cross country I did last year, but I had to pay that out of pocket as well at the NACAC. This year it's in El Salvador. I think the tickets were like over 1,000 or something like that. So I said, well, no, that's too much. So going forward, I know I booked one ticket to complete the indoor circuit in 2 weeks. So I do that at 3K, try to get as close, if not under 8 minutes. That's always the bar. And then more than likely just pick a few road races in between locally and just put full focus on May 24th. Hopefully we can just bury the hatchet with the meet directors. Last year was a big thing. I'm always up for open dialogue. We can have a sit down, talk about it. Obviously the elephant in the room is always prize money. I'm, like I said, open and willing to talk about it and just to enjoy the sport for what it is. Chris is back out. Tyler ran 2 weeks ago a marathon, so he can, I don't know what his schedule's like, but I mean, imagine him, myself, Tyler, and Chris all on the line. You want to see the biggest race, the best athletes on the day. So yeah, hopefully it can be a good season.
Now, I said earlier, you've set this bar so high for yourself. What do you think you're going to have to do to maintain that and actually go further? Well, in all honesty, I haven't done much speed work. I've done track work. So that was the surprise, in that we've just been doing over the winter like 90 miles a week, long runs, tempos, hills. So once I do these next few races, and then maybe March, I would do some really fast 800s, 400s and stuff. We're really looking to go fast this year. Hopefully I can get in maybe like a 5 or 10K. I'll put a pin in the steeple for now. Like I said, being that I'm not going to Commonwealth, I can't afford to represent Bermuda right now. So just looking to run fast over those 5 and 10K distances, and then like I said, I put full focus on May 24.
All right, well, I want to look forward to the rest of your season, because you've made it very interesting now, and the fact that you've put your hand up to say May 24th you could be back makes it even more mouth-watering.
Yeah. It's the biggest race on the race calendar, so I mean, hopefully it all works out.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, this weekend sees the return of Bermuda Football League action, and we'll start off right at the bat. Saturday, 3 p.m. at the PHC Stadium. PHC will take on North Village.
Now, I've seen some people on social media say, why this game at 3 p.m. on Saturday? Well, guys, everybody
will be playing
will be
3
playing
o'clock on Saturday
this season.
Yeah.
And the BFA, this is something that they're trying to help out with the shortage
of referees.
This was something that, once again, was put forward in a meeting, and our clubs agreed to it. So before you start blaming the BFA or blaming somebody else, our clubs agreed to this. Okay, so sometimes I don't think you realize when you make these decisions back in probably last summer that this weekend would be a very pivotal weekend.
Yeah. PAC coming off the first loss of the season. Not just first league loss, but the first loss of the season. They wouldn't want to be making a statement. They're home. And Jay, I'm going to go with them.
Right, Steven. And then because, I'm a homer, I think if you're supposed to be a top team, period, in any league,
you must win at home.
You must defend your home.
All right, tricky game. Saturday night, 9 p.m., BAA Field. Flanagan's Onions, who are 9th, take on 10th place, Young Men Social Club.
You know what, Earl? I thought about this one, and I'm just going for draw.
You take a draw. I'm actually going to take Flanagan's.
Why would you take Flanagan's? This is what I wanted. Why would you take Flanagan's?
The two teams both lack confidence in each other.
Yep.
And I believe the physicality of the Flanagan's defenders will ruffle Clay Darrell's momentum, where Keston Lewis will stand just a little ahead of the two teams. And I think he'll be the difference in the match.
But Clay Darrell just needs a sniff.
Yes, but he needs help. Social Club will run at Flanagan's early. But once those guys start that physical tackling and if it's cool, 9 times out of 10, that's it.
You know what? This game, and I hate to do this here, but this game's going to probably depend on the whistle. How the game's called.
Yeah.
As we know, and this is sometimes frustrates players and coaches, but there's also where you have to learn the approach of the referee of the game.
Yeah.
Do they allow more physical play, or they don't allow more physical play?
Right.
If they allow more physical play, then you're probably absolutely right with the Flanagans. If they don't,
then Social Club should hold the edge.
It'll be interesting.
We'll see. Then on Sunday, St. John's Field, 3 p.m., the Dennytown Hornets, coming off a big win over PHC 2 weeks ago, take on the Somerset Trojans, who, in their last game, came from 2-0 down against Boulevard to draw 2-2. So who comes in on the most emotional high?
Don't care. They got swapped out last week. No football. Momentum shot.
Well, I've taken Dennytown.
Duh.
Okay.
You ain't had no confidence in Somerset all season.
I did. I said that they will pull themselves out of the relegation zone. Go back to check the video. I was the one who said they got a lot of pride of Somerset and they won't get relegated.
You been saying that, have you been kicking them and stepping on them and jumping on them?
But I have a little bit of faith in Somerset.
Because you trying to go back up there and see you got an interview with the president. That's the only reason why. And you've been nice since you had the new president's interview. I know what he said to you off camera, but you've been quite a changed fella. Interesting. Let me see what happens after this week.
Okay. Down at Lords and St. David's, Boulevard Blazers will entertain Crossroads.
That's going to be a game for me. That's the game there for me. I think it's going to probably be the most trickiest because I don't know what Boulevard's going to do. Hey, Crossroads is surprising me, so hey, Crossroads. Let's try Crossroads.
Yeah. I have actually taken a draw. Boulevard's gonna score, but they give up goals. Crossroads scores and they give up goals. So I'm giving it a draw.
I'm giving the hot team.
Okay. Final game of the weekend. Robin Hood are at home to Devonshire Cougars.
Wow, man. This is where I saw.
The problem is you don't know if the guys from Robin Hood have recovered.
That's where I'm going with this.
Well, injury-wise,
I don't know
emotion, where are they?
What 11's gonna be put out there?
Could be you, me, Timmy,
Timmy.
John Barry, Paul Scoop,
Man.
Billy Abley.
I'm getting Robin Hood.
Yeah, Robin Hood.
Because I'm going on the impression that they're gonna have their team.
I'm actually going to take the Devonshire Cougars because of the fact that I think they have started to gel and they're defending as a unit and attacking as a unit. And I think if they can stay disciplined, and they're going to be playing on a good surface as well as Robin Hood, but I think some of the rut for Robin Hood is setting in now. And this 2-week period off, I'm not sure what they've done, but
Earl, you know what? You're probably right on this. I'm just
taking the home team.
Taking the home team.
Yeah.
At hopefully at full strength. Now, if they're not at full strength, it should be an easy victory for Cougars. If they're not.
Right.
John Barry Newsom is not going to chase these young guys around.
Oh, no.
So, I understand what you're trying to do, but if Nathan Paskett, if Jason's back and goal, Russell's playing where he needs to play.
Right. If they're at full strength, it makes it a very interesting outing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Makes it very interesting.
And I think Jalen Bassett probably come in and help solidify a little bit in the defense. So we talk about the spine a lot.
Right.
Jason, Jalen, these guys coming in, and then it sort of helps Nathan also.
Right.
So we talk about his spine a lot, but if they don't have that spine.
Yeah. Well, let's move to the first division.
Yeah.
Lords and St. David's. We'll skip right over this one. St. David's playing Island Rangers.
Yeah, next.
Okay.
Go Falcons!
BAA are home to Devonshire Colts.
Yeah, home team.
Okay. Somerset Eagles are facing Hamilton Parish at White Hill.
Home team. Try to be nice.
No.
Yeah, that's the game.
The St. George's Colts will host Paget at Rallington Oval.
You never have a problem with this, right?
No. Dion Stovall. and I said, I'm pretty sure they meet either St. George's or BAA while Stovall's not available. And of course, the tournament isn't until the end of February, so he's going to be missing for close to 4 weeks.
Man. And this is where...
Well, I'm telling you now, I'm going to take St. George's.
Yeah!
And I'll tell you why I'll take St. George's.
You always take St. George's.
Yes, but I'll tell you why I'll take St. George's. Because of the fact, it's a proven fact, that Paget are a different team without Stovall playing.
Yes, but I would also say this week is probably going to help Paget. The week off probably has helped Paget in that way because obviously they knew this was coming. So they may have had a chance to work on a few things that can probably help them. I'm not saying overcome that, but see, the only thing that scares me with St. George's is Donovan Thompson. That it.
Okay.
That it. So I'm going with the Lions.
Okay.
Away victory. Don St. George's. Lions. Because who's on top of the table?
Paget.
There you go.
And with all honesty, I hope they are still there when Dion returns.
They need this one.
There would be it'll be a confidence booster if they win this one.
If they win this one, they will be in good standing.
Yeah, because they'll have the faith and belief in each other. If they lose it, it's a lot of suicide.
And I gotta say, Taj, Tamala Curtis, those guys, it's not like Dion's been the only one
scoring. No, he's not.
And this is why I feel with St. George's, name other goal scorers from Donovan Thompson that you've seen consistently.
Other than Jairzinho Bassett, nobody else.
Consistently.
Yeah.
And Jairzinho's here, but then you don't see him here for a couple of games where these guys on the score sheet pretty
On a
often
regular basis,
on a regular
yeah,
basis.
yeah.
So that's my only thing is that they have a little more options as far as putting the ball in the back of the net.
Okay. The final game, it's at Southampton Oval, where Southampton Rangers will take on Wolves. I figured. So you've taken the home team in 4 out of the 5 matches.
Yep.
I've taken the home team all 5.
And anyone are the league leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, if you're trying to be the top team, then these are the points that you need to go and get.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're trying to win the league, Paget, these are the points you need to go and get.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. You defend your home, but
you gotta pick a few up on the road.
You gotta pick a few up on the
and
road.
you make a big statement by beating a challenger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, Earl, if St. George's loses this, that's gonna probably be the end of their.
Yeah, that's in the FA.
I'm talking about promotion.
Oh, promotion, yeah. But you know what? To be honest, it'd be far fetched. Even if they win it, but they still have a say in it. If they win the game, if they win this, they still have a say in it.
But if they lose, it's
promotion done. The only thing is concentrating on the FA. And to be honest, their opponents for the FA, Robin Hood, are in the exact same boat. So actually, Robin Hood could go St. George's in a few weeks' time and actually get a shock of their life. We'll talk about that as we get closer, because you know what's going to happen. Things will change.
Things will. Let's see who survives after this weekend with Robin.
Oh yeah.
And what team shows up? It might be a walkover for St. George.
Keep your phone on. You might get a call.
Oh no! I tell you, I'm going at another sport.
Well, folks, that's it for the Digicel Sports Show. It's February 1st. We've done a month in 2018 already.
Wow.
It's moving along really, really fast. So.
Just, and I know you've been keeping an eye on it, just before we do go, shout out to all the young kids who've been doing cross country in the school.
Oh, yeah, coming up next week, yeah.
Yep, so you got, I believe, the zonal stuff coming up shortly.
Yeah.
And we're looking to, I think these at the Arboretum.
Arboretum, yeah.
Arboretum, so I know you.
I believe it's next Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So I know you be getting some great coverage of our little ones.
Yeah. Crying, trying, and succeeding.
Yeah. I don't know why I used to stuff for loquats when I was supposed to be running.
Sometimes you gotta feed that hunger. Or that thirst. And loquats give you both.
Give me cramp too.
Well, that's because you really stopped. You're supposed to keep running, pull a few.
Do you know how sweet they were?
Well, yeah.
Running through Orange Valley back in the day?
Hey, trees are loaded.
Look what season's coming.
That's sprouting out as we speak. Have a good night, folks, from the Digicel Sports Show.